Hello, welcome to Geeky Hijinks, home of the Mischief Makers, and today we're looking at Jakob's wife. So let's get straight to what this film's about. But before I do that, let's do this properly. Shudder! Much better. So, what is Jakob's wife about? Well, it's about a lady called Anne. She's a supportive, dutiful, and obedient housewife to the local pastor Jakob. But Anne, she feels like the passion is gone from her life, so decides to meet up with an old flame. And while meeting up with them, she gets attacked by a vampire. Where aside from a new thirst for blood, she has a new attitude, wardrobe, and self-confidence. But Anne must make a decision. Should she try and find a cure for her new curse and pursue the life she had before? Or should she keep it and enter a new chapter in her life as one of the undead? Now I'm going to say straight away, vampires are not really my thing. Never been my thing since I was a kid. I found the stories interesting, but the films not so much. My favourite film was being Lost Boys, Blade, Fright Night, which was like the scariest film to watch as a kid. My mum put it on for me thinking it was a comedy, and I think we will scream the house down that night. But generally, and Twilight. Of course I'm joking, don't hurt me. But yeah, generally films like vampire films, The Mummy, Frankenstein, and Wolfman have never really What are you doing?
Well, sir, you told me to play something eerie to set the mood.
Yeah, I know I said play eerie music, but not so loud. I can't even hear myself speak. Play something a bit more gentle. You know what? Don't even worry about it. I'm just going to carry on without it, but thank you anyway.
Oh.
But yeah, those kind of films have never been my thing. I've been more about the slashers, paranormal, supernatural, those types of horrors. So going into this, I know it's going to be more of an ode to those types of movies with a little bit of a twist, but I'm still going in with a fresh brain and an open mind. So let's just start with what I liked about this film, and that was the leads, Barbara Crampton and Larry Fassender. Now Barbara Crampton, if none of you know, she's a bit of a screen queen known in the horror world. I'm not going to lie and say I've seen every one of her films. I've seen some, but I know of her, and she's very recognisable in the horror community. But I loved her performance as Anne, the housewife, and as the vampire, because as the housewife, she's subordinate, she's dutiful, kind of getting overshadowed in a relationship, and he wanted to break out and stand up for herself and her husband. And the husband's not a bad guy. He's just kind of like comfortable in a relationship. He's not like cracking the whip and treating her like an idiot in public. He's just comfortable in their marriage. He's not a bad guy. This is not one of those like men are bad films. He's just like I said, a comfortable husband who's kind of taking his wife for granted. So when she gets the chance to meet this new flame, Tom, you're thinking, go on Anne, go and get some, go and feel good about yourself. And then she gets bitten by the vampire, and if she bites someone or drinks their blood, she becomes a full-time vampire. But she isn't at that stage yet. She's trying to decide, do I want this life? Because now as a vampire, I feel sexy, I feel in control, I feel strong, I feel independent, I've got my confidence, I've got some self-esteem. But at the same time, she likes the life she has with her husband. She loves her husband, she likes her friends. So she wants that perfect balance, and that's kind of what the film is about. Like, how can you have both without having to kill people, but also without being too quiet for the rest of your life? Now, Larry Fassender, who plays Jakob, he was very annoying in the first part of the film. I was like, oh my god, this dude is driving me nuts. The way he brushes his teeth. Yeah, it was annoying Anne, but it was also annoying me, because I hate the sound of brushing, like when someone's brushing the floor, brushing their teeth. I hate that noise. So when he was making those noises, I was like, can you please shut up? But once it gets to a certain point in the film where he has to confront a vampire, then he becomes likable. Then he becomes, more funny to me. I was on more of his side. So yeah, in the first part of the film, annoying, but towards the end and in the middle, he got better. Now the practical effects in this film are so good, if not over the top. Even Mortal Kombat would be like, calm down film, way over the top. Because blood is splashing around, throats are being ripped, heads are being pulled apart. It is very bloody to the point where they're like spurting more blood than the body can hold. It's kind of like that, very, very, very bloody. It kind of reminds me of that film by Peter Jackson. Oh, I forgot the name of it now, but I'm going to put the name here because it's going to drive me nuts. But that's one of the goriest films I've ever seen in my life. And it has those elements, nowhere near as gory, but like the blood spattering and the OTT-ness, that's a new word, of it all, reminded me of that film. Now, let's get straight into the issues with this movie, and that is the tone. Sometimes it's light, sometimes it's dark. PG, what are you doing? I said stop the music completely.
Well, I thought I'd play something a little light.
No, nothing light, just stop.
Oh.
Anyway, as I was saying, the tones in this film, they're a bit mixed bag, but they don't merge well. You're trying to be funny, campy and cheesy, but then you're trying to be dark, ominous and scary. And you can merge the two in any sort of film. It has been done before in many films that have come before this, but in this film, it didn't really work at all. I also don't think Anne's character was fully utilised, especially when she's a vampire, because in most films, especially superhero films, they get their powers and they test them out. Kind of like they do in Spider-Man, he's testing his webbing out, he's crawling on the walls, he's jumping from building to building, he's got his strength, and then things get real with the villain and things get more serious. Now, with this, she has those moments where she gets the super strength and she's rearranging her furniture, and it's like, it's nothing to her. She's getting her teeth whitened and the UV lights to brighten her teeth start burning her mouth. So there's moments like that. But it wasn't enough. I wanted more of Anne really being a vampire. Like, I thought I was going to get Anne turning into this like mistress of the night where she was just going to go around and start gobbling up people, eating people, but like drinking their blood. And there's none of that. It's more of an inner turmoil where she's trying to decide, like I mentioned, do I be a vampire and feel this way, like feel amazing for the rest of my life? Or do I try and stay as I was with my husband, but that means being humble and quiet, like what do I do? And yeah, I get that's an interesting twist on the vampire genre, but at the same time, it's just not what I wanted from this particular movie. And the most disappointing thing about this film is I was bored quite a few times throughout. I felt myself looking around the room, I felt myself looking at my phone. Apparently, this is the sign language for looking at your phone. This is me reading a book. But I found myself being distracted quite a lot throughout this film. It wasn't engaging, no shifts in tones. Anne's character and story arc weren't really doing it for me. And I even said once out loud, when's this film going to end? Maybe it's because I'm not into vampire films. Maybe this type of horror comedy isn't my cup of tea. Who knows? But I did like Vicious Fun, which combined slasher films with dark comedy. So it does work. But unfortunately, Jakob's wife didn't. Overall guys, this is a film with great actors playing great characters, the soundtrack's great, practical effects are amazing, and it has some fun moments sprinkled throughout. But it's let down by its tonal shifts, the character development I wasn't really on board with. I wanted Anne to be utilised better, and she wasn't. The best part of the film being the last 5 minutes, which I wish the whole film would have been about. And yeah, like I mentioned, got bored quite a bit throughout. Would I recommend this though? In a weird way, I would, because even though I'm in the middle, maybe a little bit below, you may really enjoy it because you might like vampire films and this type of horror comedy. But, with everything said, I'm going to give Jakob's Wife 2.5 geeky coins out of 5. It also gets a one-time spin and a mobile moan. So guys, that was my review of... That was my review of Jakob's Wife. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it a snooze fest or the greatest film we've ever seen? Come back to the comments to let me know because I genuinely am interested. If you like this video, drop me those likes because it always does help. But until next time, stay out of trouble.